Welcome, beloved, to it's week 10, but we are on card number 9 in the major arcana here in this series, Living the Tarot and Grounded Oracles. We are looking at the Hermit card this week. We finished up last week with the Strength card, and I found myself many times throughout the week just thinking of that card and applying fortitude and strength to the situation I was in. It was a rather tough week, so the energy really came in handy. And now we're on to the Hermit card. So we'll take a look at where it fits in with the Fool's or the Hero's journey, and then take a little bit of a deeper dive. I'll share a little bit of my insight, and then I'll read some descriptions from the Holistic Tarot to get kind of a rounded picture. But most importantly, this is for you to strengthen your intuition and really build a relationship with this Hermit card, right? We know that all of these archetypes in the 22 major arcana can come up in our daily lives, right? Multitudes of them, as far as the energies, right? In and out. That you may have 10 different energies of the 10 major arcana cards, of 10 major arcana cards that pop up for you. You could operate in one or two for a day, for several weeks, years even. So, they're not necessarily going to be in sequential order, as probably makes a whole lot of sense, but just throwing that out there. So, the Hermit. So as far as the Fool goes, having learned so much already, the Fool seeks solitude in order to go within and reflect on everything he has learned or seen so far. He becomes the Hermit and retreats to try to understand the meaning of why this world works the way it does. From his time away, in isolation as the Hermit, he sees that everything is connecting, is divinely planned by the universe, God, source, whatever word you choose to use. At some point in all of our lives, we ask the question, why? The Fool becomes concerned with the search for answers, and this card represents the need to look inward to find the deeper meaning of life. At this point in his journey, the outside world begins to hold less attraction for him, and he starts to seek moments of quiet and solitude. He may even seek out a teacher or guide to help him find the purpose of his life. So, for the first time in his life, the Fool needs to be alone to seek spiritual guidance. Then he will find more of innermost knowledge about himself. So, Hermit is of earth energy, right? Ruled by Mercury, and it's a Virgo card about wisdom, erudition, and mentorship. A wise man holds up his lantern as he stands on the snowy peaks. In his other hand, he carries a walking stick. He has been on a long journey and has learned much from his spiritual travels. Cloaked in gray, with a gray sky behind him, the hermit's expression is one of wisdom and placidity. He is neutral in the war between good and evil. He has transcended that war and has found peace. Okay, so as from the Holistic Tarot, an integrative approach to using tarot for personal growth by Benebell. Wisdom is offered. In practical application, the theme of this card is guidance and mentorship. The Hermit is the card of both neophyte, initiates, and prophets. Someone wiser than the seekers offering good counsel, and that counsel is correct. The seeker should accept the advice and be open to advice from those who are wiser. The staff that the Hermit holds in his left hand symbolizes a supernal command that transcend the physical realm and the five physical senses. The Hermit is also about introspection. It can indicate an introvert or someone who is embracing solitude. The seeker is turning attention and focus inward. When you compare to, say, like the Four of Cups, which indicates the need, start, or attempt to turn attention inward, but external distractions are preventing the seeker from doing so. Here, the Hermit is filled with wisdom and indicates a meditative, philosophical turn of attention inward. Whereas the seeker is turning inward in the Four of Cups out of past disappointment, the seeker is turning inward in the Hermit in order to seek enlightenment or spiritual ascension. The Hermit is a guardian of higher thought and contemplation. In the Four of Cups, the seeker may be licking wounds. In the Hermit, the seeker is either the mentor or beacon of wisdom for others, or the seeker is the one who should accept the wisdom of his or her mentor. To determine which applies to the seeker, you look to neighboring cards around it, right? All depends on the reader and what's around it. There are two ways of interpreting the lighted lantern. Some suggest it represents wisdom, the shining of light in the darkness for others. Another is to interpret the lighted lantern as representing someone who sees the world through his or her own light. The hermit walks in the direction of his own thoughts only. He is not a traditionalist. The seeker is unorthodox in the path taken, usually one of solitude. There's also speculation with this hermit card that is inspired by Peter the Hermit, a key figure during the First Crusades. The Hierophant is about orthodox wisdom, and in this, or unorthodox solitary path to wisdom, right? It is the unorthodox solitary path to wisdom. Another reference associated with this is the hermit is St. Francis of Paola and the Hermits of St. Francis, an order of the Benedict friars, later known as the Minim friars, a namesake that describes their vows of humility, and drawing an interpretive connection between the hermit and St. Francis. The hermit indicates the path of nonviolence and compassion, with the lighted lantern affirming to the seeker that such a path is the way to respond to the seeker's present situation. It also suggests a gift of prophecy, as was associated with St. Francis. The lighted lantern is pointing the way to that which is to come. Look to any neighboring cards in the spread that the lantern seems to draw attention to, as these cards may suggest a prophetic matter that will bear great relevance to the seeker. The element of earth governs this card. Attributions associated with earth will represent the external forces at play in the seeker situation. Yin is the dominant energy, and it's related to the sign of Virgo. Okay. Yeah. So the two interpretations listed in this book are similar to that, in which I tend to interpret it as in needing time out for sure, but allowing the star card, right? The star energy in this lantern, the healing, that need for healing, the light, your connections, your relationship, even the relationship with yourself to be healing, and allow that light to shine to guide others, right? It's holding up the light and on your path being only really to see the next step or steps in front of you, right? Giving you just enough light for the step you're on, which is very important when you're practicing mindfulness, right? Being in the present moment, which a lot of us can get caught up in the what ifs of the past, what we could have done better or shouldn't have done, and the what ifs of the future, when the best and only moment in reality is that present moment. So if you were trying to heal from um, any kind of mental blocks, limiting beliefs, negative thinking about yourself, and you need to take time out, it's really allowing that light to shine on just the next step in front of you, because sometimes that's all you can handle, right? Seeing more than that might scare you and send you away from your path of what you want and what you need. So that is the way I tend to interpret it. So on the left we have the Rider-Waite, and on the left, the Rider-Waite, and on the right, it's from my deck Tarot Decorative with La Hermite, number 9. And in this one, it just feels like he's really holding up his light and looking down, taking each step seriously with defined purpose, right? Guiding, quiet, humble, trying not to draw attention to himself in ways that might harm him or others, whatever that might mean. That's going to show up differently for each person. And I really feel like it's almost like the Wheel of Fortune in the background, which is and in that 1920s vibe of these cards, right? Just that being able to see within the self and reflecting that out to others. Like when you're in front of a mirror and seeing yourself and you have that light, it's going to reflect back. It's going to shine brightly for others to see out even further, right? Okay. A good affirmation for this card, if you're going to meditate on this week, is I heed the wisdom of sages. Introspection is the inner light that illuminates my lantern. That inner light and letting it glow, right? For others to see your healing and your beauty, right? Showing up for yourself. Okay, if this card comes up in a love reading, depending on the cards around it, it could indicate not a good time to seek relationships. Know thyself first before knowing others. Do not try to overanalyze the partner. Tendency to be hypercritical, down to earth relationship, pure of heart. It's a beautiful interpretation. Okay, in a professional development reading, should this come up, could be about seek the counsel of a mentor. A mentor will help with the seeker's situation, right? Or professional development guidance. I'm very big on mentors. I feel like everybody should have a mentor or several mentors. So if you don't have one, you can find one. And it doesn't have to be someone that you see one to one, even though that's very helpful. It could be someone that you get information from, you seek counsel from, get clarity from. Okay, beloved, I hope that you will look upon this all day long and have the chance to meditate on it, whether or not you have it as wallpaper on your phone, you put it under your pillow so that you can pray before you go to bed for any insight to see how this energy can help you in your life. If there's any ways that you can identify this in people around you so you interact differently, if it helps see yourself in a different light, that you have light to shine on others, then don't be afraid to claim that, right? You are wise in your own right, right? Your own wise teacher, so to speak. And at times you might be your own mentor, right? Allowing your higher self spirit to be your guide. You can never go wrong there. So, beloved, I'd love to know your thoughts on this card, maybe some insights you have of how it resonates and is relevant for you. So, beloved, have a fabulous week meditating on the Hermit card. And yeah, we'll see you next week to continue our Fooled or Hero's journey. Stay grounded.